All right, welcome to class today. So let's go ahead and get started in a sitting position. I'm sitting on several blankets, so make sure if you're on the floor that you're sitting up on some height, or feel free to go ahead and start out in a chair, whatever works best for you. I'm sitting in simple cross-legged. If that's comfortable for you, you can join me in simple cross-legged today. If that's not working for you, feel free to take a Badakanasana or a wide-legged Dandasana, or sitting in your chair, whatever feels right as we begin today. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and take the flesh of the buttocks and draw it out to the side on each side. So you land right down on those sitting bones. Just noticing where your body is in space as we begin today. Begin letting go of whatever it took to get to class, a rush to get to the screen this morning. Let the body begin to settle here. And let's go ahead and take just a couple minutes to center ourselves. So soften the eyes. You can either gently close them or direct your gaze downward, or simply just soften the eyes. Let the hands rest where it is most comfortable for you. Maybe it's palms facing down or palms facing up. You decide what feels right for you today. And we'll go ahead and sit for a couple minutes. So as always, the sound of the singing bowl brings us into this space. Letting go of whatever it took to get to class this morning. Letting the body recognize this position. Feeling the simple support of the floor beneath the feet, the chair or the props, blankets maybe, or a bolster between, are supporting the weight of the hips and the torso. Letting the spine gently rise, letting the shoulder blades gently drop down the back body. And this morning in this position, let there be a sense of spaciousness in your joints. Sense of spaciousness in the shoulder joints, the elbows and the hands. Softness in the palms, softness in the soles of the feet. And into that softness and openness, find your breath. No manipulation here, no judgment. Just notice the process of breathing in and breathing out. Nowhere to go right now, nothing to do, nothing to fix. Allow the mind and the body to rest here. And then gently draw your sternum toward your chin. Relax the back of the neck, allowing the chin to drop down over the sternum. Take a breath or two here. Notice the difference in the breath as you change the position of the body, even very slightly. And then let's bring our hands together in the center as we begin our practice today. Saluting the goodness, the divinity within. And allow the hands to come back down to the thighs, palms facing up. Raise your head and open your eyes. Okay, change the cross of the legs if you happen to be sitting in simple cross-legged. If you're sitting in a chair, stay right where you are. So we're going to talk today, like I was saying during our meditation, about doing our practice this morning with a sense of softness in the joints, a sense of openness in the joints. And so we won't be forcing our joints to end range today during practice, but allowing for a sense of expansiveness and softness in the joints as we move through our practice today. So I'm going to invite you, if you're sitting on the floor, to take a bolster or a block, couple of blocks or something in front of you. If you don't have a bolster or you're sitting in a chair, you're going to put your hands right down on your knees. So either is fine, either a bolster or simply bringing your hands to your knees is fine. So keeping the spine very long. I don't want bending over at the spine, but I want you to keep that spine very long. Go ahead and take your hands forward and bring them to the bolster or to your knees. And let's start out first with vigorously opening the hands, because I want you to start studying some of the contrasts. So vigorously open the hands, stretching the fingers as wide as you possibly can. And we do work this way sometime, and that's also a good way to work. Today, we're just going to back it up a little bit from that. So vigorously opening the hands, extending all the way up through the arms, and then all the way down along through the spine and out through the sitting bones. Head is a natural progression from the spine, so it's neither looking up or down, but just staying in a neutral position. So maybe your gaze is, a little bit in front of you. And just noticing what that feels like, and then relax and rest and come out of that position for a breath or two. And then let's do it again, except this time we're going to soften the joints a little bit. So I'm still coming forward like I did before, except this time, instead of vigorously opening my hands, I'm going to let there be a little softness, almost like there was a little bit of a dome, almost like I'm giving myself a bit of a shock absorber. And so I'm not necessarily doming my hands like a claw, but I'm just letting them soften. So there's a little sense of spaciousness between the joints. So I'm bringing my hands, so hands either down to your legs or to the bolster in front of you. Again, nice long spine, but gently lengthen the spine. My palms are open and my hands are wide, but they're wide with a little bit of softness, a little bit of doming today. And then with that sense of softness, draw your attention to your palms, letting them expand energetically and letting them expand on the inner body, and then connecting that to a sense of expansion on the soles of the feet. Now let that sense of expansion begin to travel up through the elbows, where you might have just a little bit of a micro bend, up through the shoulders and all the way down the spine toward the sitting bones. Now fill the body with breath. Take a nice, good breath there, feeling especially those back ribs as we sit in this position today. One more breath here. Good. And then inhale back up. Be in the center. You can move the bolster if you want, or keep it there. It's up to you. Resting here, finding the breath, feeling that softness. If you want to add a little bit of spaciousness in the spine, feel free to unweight the spine a little bit by taking the hands, bringing them around next to your hips, gently pressing down and letting that spine unweight just a little bit as you unweight the sit bones a bit. And then keeping that softness and length in the spine. Go ahead and set the sitting bones down. Bring the hands back around to the front. Good. Let's take one hand out to the side. And again, now you might need to bring it down to a block or a bolster. If you're sitting in a chair, you'll want to just hang on to the edge of the chair. But however you're bearing weight through that hand, again, not through a vigorously opened hand today, but through a softer hand. So you're receiving support here, but you're receiving it through a softer hand. I'm going to actually use a block because that feels a little bit better for me today. So I'm going to just put my hand out to the side, keeping it soft. Take that other hand, bring it up over my head. Now it can go right up over your head, or it can go over your head into a little bit of a side bend. It's up to you. But begin opening up this whole length of the body, especially the side ribs over here. So I've got soft hands on both sides here. Breathing here. And now with our breath, we're going to do a little bit of a head turn. So on my next inhale, I'm going to turn and look up toward my arm a bit. Inhaling. Exhaling, just come back to neutral. Inhaling up. Exhaling, neutral. One more time, inhaling, look up a bit. Exhaling, coming back to neutral. Good, and then with a wide arc, take that arm down. And it may have begun to tingle a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. If it did, just shake it out. Give it a little bit of a shake. Now, if it doesn't feel good for you to turn the head with that, certainly don't turn the head with that and come out of the pose at any time that you need to. But let's go to the other side. So taking whatever height you need, if you need height out there, I'm going to take a little block today to give me a little bit of the extra support out here. Again, I'm paying attention to how I set my hand down. I'm not just plopping my hand down and leaning into it, but I'm actually giving myself a little bit of softness here and not leaning so heavily into this side of the body. And let's go ahead and ground our sitting bones and then take your arm up over your head. And again, it can come any amount, whatever works for you today. If it wants to cross the midline, feel free to let it cross the midline into more of a side bend. Just listen to where your body's at today. Notice the opening of these side ribs with your inhalation. And if you'd like, let's go ahead and start with our next inhale, and we'll turn that head and look up a little bit. Inhaling. Exhaling, your head comes back to neutral. Inhaling, you look up. Exhaling, back to neutral. Inhaling one more time. Exhaling, back to neutral. And then let that arm down. I like to add and play with that little bit of head turn because it almost opens those ribs up a little bit more as we take that inhale. We're going to kind of follow that theme as we go through class today. So come back to the center again. Let yourself be in the center here. Let's take just a little bit of twisting now, just to kind of get the spine warming up. Whatever feels right for your body. If you want to let the body twist a little more, because that feels better today, go ahead, or keep it very slow and very minimal turning. Whatever feels right for your spine today as we begin to warm up here. And then if it feels good, go ahead and just let the spine move a little bit in whatever plane it wants to move. So you might decide it feels good to do circles, or maybe you want to just kind of do a little snake from side to side, just letting the body be free and feel the freedom of movement in whatever plane feels good. And maybe the head comes along for the ride, maybe it stays more in the center, but whatever helps you feel very little warmed up and a little bit looser this morning. All right. For those who are sitting on the floor, we're going to take our legs into Badakhanasana, or a little bit of a wide leg pose. If you're sitting in a chair, you can take your legs a little bit wider apart or leave them right in the center, whatever's working for you today. For those on the floor, I'd invite you to bring the legs a little bit apart. They don't have to be wide apart, but just a little bit apart. Okay, so wherever you are sitting today, go ahead and begin pushing out through the four corners of the feet. So we begin to set a base for this pose. And let's go ahead and again, think today of the theme of softness in the shoulders, the elbows, a little bit of doming in the hands. And let's go ahead and take an inhalation and bring those arms up. Exhalation, let them float down. Inhalation up. Exhalation, let them float down. Inhalation, come on up. Keep them here and turn the palms forward as you exhale. Soften the palms, spread wide across the palms, and now connect that to spreading wide across the soles of the feet. Again, connecting the hands and the feet here, long spine, head is balanced right on top of the shoulders. Soften the jaw, the back of the neck and the throat, even as you hold this. And then release on back down. Good. And just let your hands rest wherever they're most comfortable. Let's take just a breath here. Good. Take one leg. If you're sitting on the floor, you're going to take one leg and bring it into a Badakanasana form. If you're sitting in a chair, I would keep both legs centered and sitting right now. But if you're able to, in sitting, go ahead and bring that one leg into a Badakanasana, or bringing that leg into the midline. You may want to take a block and put it underneath your leg to give you a little bit of support there. Notice the difference as we play with our position a little bit, how you tend to lean a little more heavily on one sitting bone, and see if you can equalize the weight, your weight on the sitting bones here. Nice tall spine as we inhale here. Good, and then exhaling. Let's take the hand of the bent leg and bring it around behind us. Again, keeping some sort of feeling of doming and softness in this, in the hands. We're not leaning so heavily on our joints this morning, but keeping a little bit of a doming feeling there, okay? If you're using a chair today, you're going to bring your hand down and anchor it on the side of the chair. And then let's go ahead again, and we're going to inhale with a soft arm, bringing the arm over the head. I'm in a little bit of a diagonal now. And then bring it back now down, opening that chest, keeping that chest very open at a diagonal. And let's bring it up over our head again. And then back down. I'm even letting my back arm elbow bend a little bit as I come down, just giving it a little more shock absorption today. Coming up, and we'll take it one more time down. And now this next time, we're going to take it up over our head, coming up over our head and holding it. And once again, like we did earlier, let's go ahead and take 3 inhalations, exhalations, with inhalation looking up a bit. Exhalation back to neutral. Feel this opening as you inhale again. Inhale. Exhale back to neutral. And then one more inhalation as we look up. Exhaling, head back to neutral. Good. And then release that arm and bring it on down. Good. Find yourself back in the center here. And then let's go ahead and change legs. So the leg that was bent will now go out. And the leg that was straight will now come back in. Again, I'm taking the block and putting it underneath my knee for a little support. It's up to you if you'd like to do that or not, but I think it helps me it helps me to keep from falling over to that side. So I like to have a little bit of a block there. Find yourself in the center again. Good, and then let's take that hand that has the bent leg and we're going to bring it over again, paying attention to the softness of the hand and the softness of the elbow as we give ourselves a little support here. But don't completely collapse the body forward. Keep a sense of openness across the chest as we begin to inhale and bring the arm over the head and then back down. Slowly, slowly opening the body here with our breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling up, exhaling it back down. And then this last time we're going to hold it, so we'll take it over the head now. Inhaling here. And then now as we inhale again, we'll inhale and turn the head up just a bit. Exhale back to neutral. Open those side ribs as you inhale and turn the head a bit. Exhale back to neutral. Make sure that other hand is still soft. One more time, inhaling. Exhaling back to neutral, and then let that arm come all the way back down to the center. Good. If you're sitting in this kind of modified Upavista, feel free to pull the other leg in. Everybody coming back to the center from whatever position you happen to be in. Take a breath or two here. And then let's just take a little bit of a cat-cow, but I don't want you to go back into the arched back position so much of the cat. I want you to think more about the cow. So I'm going to roll forward on my sitting bones, bring my chest up and come up. Breathing in. And then as I exhale, I'm just going to come back to neutral. I'm not going to go into a rounded position. And then take a few more of those at your own pace. Coming forward and lifting the chest and then letting it roll back a little bit, but not going into a full cat or bent over position here, not a full rounded position. So a couple more of these just to keep that spine oscillating and moving any amount. Good. Then coming back to the center, be in the center for a breath. Okay, so let's move into a hands and knees position. If that position doesn't feel good for you, you can stay right in your chair. It's up to you. I'll demonstrate where I'm going with this. I am going to go onto my hands and knees, and just because it's a little more comfortable, I'm going to take a blanket and put it underneath my knees. We're going to need our chairs in a minute, so I've got a chair out here. We don't need it at this minute though, so I'm going to leave it out toward the edge of my mat, but have it nearby because we will use it in, we'll use it in a little bit. All right. So in this hands and knees position, I'm going to put my arms out a little bit in front of me. And remember that if you are not bearing weight on your hands today, then you can certainly take this position, putting weight through your forearms on a bolster here. So you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to put your hands on or put your weight through your hands here, or you're also welcome to do this in a chair where you'll do more of the cat and mini, well, really the cow and mini cat position that we were just doing. So I have my arms out in front of me just a little bit. Again, my tendency and you know how I've been trained is to really open those hands vigorously. But today I'm going to let them dome a little bit. I'm going to let there be a little bit of softness in my elbow, a little bit of softness in my shoulder here. And then I'm gently going to come forward and lift my chest just a bit. And then as I go back, come back into just partial child's pose. And then we'll come forward again. Lifting here and coming back. Now, if you'd like to go a little deeper toward child's pose, you can. You decide where and how deep you want to go into the child's pose. as we gently oscillate through this movement. If it's difficult to have your feet like that, you can certainly turn your toes under. So you can be on the tops of the feet, or you can be on your toes if that's a little bit easier for you. So finding what feels best as you gently oscillate in and out of this, maybe going a little bit deeper toward the child's pose, maybe not, and that's okay. And then for your next one, if it feels comfortable for you, feel free to release all the way back into child's pose if that feels good. If not, stay right where you were before. And then slowly release and come on up. Okay, I'm going to pull my chair closer now. I think I will still stay on my blanket because it makes my knees feel better, but it's up to you if you'd like to be on the blanket or not. So now I'm kneeling in front of the chair. Bringing the chair pretty close to me here. And I'm going to put one arm and then the other arm up on the chair. And just go so I'm a little bit closer. So I could actually come all the way up, but we don't need to come all the way up today. So I have my knees on the floor and my forearms on the chair here. Both of my forearms are moving toward the back of the chair, and my palms, again, my soft domed palms, are on the chair for support. In this position, I'm trying not to sink into my shoulders, but gently rising out of the shoulders here. Then with my breath, I'm slowly going to start bringing one foot behind me and then back, letting my breath be the guide here. So inhaling, exhaling, or the opposite. If you want to exhale and take it out, try that too, whichever works for you today. And I'm just gently pressing out with the heel as I extend into a long lunge here. Now this next time, go ahead and hold that position with your foot out in the lunge position. Keep that spine long and slowly begin to turn so that leg turns a bit. My foot is still pointing toward the screen or toward you guys right now. I have a long side body here, and I've taken my arm, which was here, and turned it so my hand is now pointing forward. That gives me a little bit more stability here. So if you're comfortable in this position, and remember, you could also be seated and just simply leaning over to the side. That works too. Let's go ahead and inhale the arm over the head and then back down. Inhaling over the head. Exhaling back down. One more time, we'll hold this time. Inhaling your arm over the head, holding here. Go ahead and exhale, and then let's do our look up. Inhaling, look up. Exhaling back to center. Inhale, look up. Exhale back to center. One more time, inhale, look up. Exhale back to center, bring that arm all the way back down. Good, escort that leg back to the center and then come back to the center on your chair. Now you'll stay right where you are. I'm just going to change the position of my chair so that I can be facing the screen, but you stay right where you are and we'll go to the other side. So keeping that spine long, let's go ahead and gently press that leg out. Long spine. Working with the opposite leg now and then release back down. A couple more times, oscillating as you press that leg out and bringing it back down. Everything is soft today. Palms are soft, soles of the feet are soft. Just one more time we press out And bring it back down. And then this time, let's go ahead and press out and let that leg stay out in the lunge as we slowly roll the body so it faces forward. Remember, I'm going to take my hand and bring it forward. So I've got a wider base of support here. And you know, on this bottom leg, you can also take it and turn it out a little bit. That'll give you a little bit more like a gate. You can bring it out like a gate. That'll give you a little more support here. And then here, let's go ahead, keeping those hands soft. We'll inhale over the head. Exhale back down. Inhale up. Exhaling back down. And inhaling up. Exhaling back down, and then on this last one, we'll hold it. I love that, Colleen, you've chosen to take this standing, smart idea. Inhale, look up. Exhale to the front. Inhale up. Exhale, front. Inhale, turn the head one last time. Exhale as you bring that arm all the way back down here. Good. Slowly turn the body back toward the chair. Take a little rest there. And then slowly ease yourself out of that position back to the floor. Oh, Colleen, I thought you were standing. You were lying down, but that's actually a good idea. That this would be another option for this, is actually to take it standing too. But for this class, we're going to stay on the floor. Okay, I'm going to take my blanket and make it into a pillow. Put it up here at the top of the mat, and keep my chair on my mat here. If you have a belt, go ahead and bring your belt nearby. We're not going to need it right away, but we will need it in a few minutes. So I'll let you get on your back with your knees on the chair. So this is where we're going here. On your back, knees on the chair, something under your head to give you a little bit of support with the head. And make sure that that chair comes up so it really supports you all the way through the length of the calf, all the way up through the bottom, or excuse me, all the way up through the crease of the knee. And once you get there, just let yourself relax for a few breaths. We've been working here. So let yourself receive the weight of receive the support of the floor here. Notice the breath coming. No judgment. It might be soft. It might be a little labored, because getting back into this position can certainly take some effort. And as you're ready, and it feels good, take your arms out to the sides. Notice my arms aren't quite at shoulder height, but they're a little bit below shoulder height. Whatever's most comfortable for you. They could even be lower than this if that feels a little bit better. Now in this position, allow the fingers to curl a bit, not into a fist by any means, but just into sort of a gentle, as if you were cupping you were holding onto a warm teacup or something like that. So the fingers are gently curled here. The body is resting on the floor. You have adequate head support. I'll trust that you do. Let the breath come naturally here. Now draw your attention once again to the palms of the hands. Now with every inhalation, let those curled fingers lengthen just a little bit. So inhale, and let the hands open a little bit. Exhale, maybe it recedes a little bit, but not quite to that curled position. Let's inhale again and open those hands a little bit more. As we exhale, the fingers recede a little bit, but still not quite to that curled position. And then finally, with this next inhalation, letting the fingers spread gently wide, again, maintaining that dome of the hands, even as they are palm up this time. Let your breath come softly as you allow the hands to gently open here. And as we've been doing today in class, connect that open sensation in the palms to the soles of the feet. So we're connecting through space, that opening sensation of the palms with the opening sensation in the feet. Rest here. Okay, bring your arms down to your sides, keeping that softness in the palm that you've been maintaining throughout class. Let's just go ahead and slowly begin to bring the arms over the head. So your next inhalation draws those arms over your head any amount. Exhalation draws the arms back down to the floor. So at your own pace, inhaling the arms over the head any amount. Exhaling the arms down to the floor, almost as if you're just flowing gently with the breath. If you wish to go a little further every time bringing your arms over the head, you can, or you can keep it right where it's most comfortable. Go ahead and take one more, this time bringing the arms over the head as far as you can. We're going to hold it here for a few breaths. So bringing the arms over the head, now lengthening fully along the side body. We've been kind of coaxing and nudging the shoulders. And now see if the shoulders can open into this position, gently extending through the elbows, through the wrists, through the fingers. Again, keeping that gentle dome position though today. Couple of good breaths here. And then your next inhalation brings you up to the center. The hands are pointing toward the ceiling, and exhalation brings your arms back down to the sides. Rest there for a breath or two. Now, continuing to maintain that softness of the hands and the feet, we'll just slowly begin to raise one arm and the opposite leg at the same time. So inhaling up, exhaling down. Other side, inhaling up, exhaling down. Go ahead at your own pace, continuing with the inhales and exhales, allowing the breath to lead these movements this morning, keeping the hands and the feet soft as you gently oscillate in this rhythmic movement from side to side. Working opposite sides, feeling a sense of flow and a sense of softness as you move. Good, take a couple more. One more time each side. Make sure you finish on the opposite side that you started on. And once you've finished, go ahead and just allow yourself to relax here for a few breaths. All right, go ahead and take your right leg and cross it over, placing your right ankle on your left thigh. If that's difficult, you can certainly place the right ankle on the left shin, if that feels a little bit better on the hip. Otherwise, take it toward the thigh if you comfortably can here. This may be where you want to stay right now. This may be enough of an opening sensation in the body and a stretch of the buttocks, the piriformis here. But if you'd like to go a little further, you're welcome to take a belt or your hands and bring it behind that left thigh and draw that left thigh toward the chest a bit. My feet are gently active. My hands are holding the belt, but they're not holding it vigorously, just gently holding the belt today. And I'm breathing here as I lengthen along the spine toward the sitting bones. If you'd like to take it one step further, you're welcome to straighten that left leg toward the ceiling, or simply keep it down on the chair. One more breath here. And then let's slowly release the strap, release the legs, uncross the legs, and take a breath here. Same thing, other side. So I'm taking my left leg now, I'm crossing over my right knee. You can remain here, or if you wish, taking your hands or your belt, putting it behind the right thigh, and gently drawing the thigh toward the chest any amount. Feet are gently active here, finding your breath. And then release the leg, release the strap, keep a hold of the strap, just don't release it from the leg. Let the legs go back to the chair. And then if it feels good, let's go ahead and take a Badakanasana on the chair. So we'll walk our legs forward, well, toward us, toward the chest. And then I'm going to loop my belt around my feet. You're welcome to do that if you'd like a little extra support in this. I've just taken the belt and I've kind of lassoed the feet so the belt is coming across the top of the foot. Now you can hook the heels right on the edge of the chair, or you can place the heels on the chair, whichever feels more supportive for you. People like it a little bit differently. Some people like to have more of their foot on the chair. Some people like to kind of hook that edge of the heel on the edge of the chair. So it's up to you. I have one side of the strap in each hand, and I'm gently drawing my elbows to the floor. So elbows are on the floor, one hand is holding one side or each hand is holding one side of the strap. And just allowing the legs to release into Badakanasana. Breath remains soft here. And of course, if this isn't working for you, simply bring the legs together and place them on the chair. Soft breath, soft belly. Take one more breath here. And then let's bring those legs back together, bringing the knees back together. You can release the strap and bring the calves back on the chair. And just rest here for a few breaths. You can set your strap aside. Feel free to bring your arms out to the sides if that feels good, or sometimes it feels good to bring the hands to the abdomen or ribs, wherever you feel best right now. Taking a few breaths here. And then let's take our feet off the chair. And I'm going to push the chair away from me a little bit, placing my feet on the mat. Feel free to scoot away from the chair if you need to. Now make sure you have something under your head. If you were lying without anything under your head, make sure you put a blanket onto your head. And let's go ahead and turn toward one side. So rolling onto one side, we'll go ahead and take our sunrise stretch to end things today before Shavasana. So my knees are bent. I have my bottom arm straight out. My top arm is on top. So my palms are together. And then as you're ready, go ahead and inhale, bringing that top arm up toward the ceiling. Head follows that arm. And exhale as you bring it back down. Continue inhaling that arm up, head travels with that arm that's moving. Exhaling back down. Now this time, if you'd like to take the arm further, you can. The head stays in the middle, remember. And if you'd like, you can bring that arm all the way out to the side. My hand conveniently has landed on my block, which actually feels really good today. So I'm going to let my arm land on that block for a little support on the opposite side here. Breathing into this space right now. Face is facing toward the ceiling. And then begin bringing that arm back toward the center. And then the head follows that arm all the way back down. Go ahead and bend the elbows. Rest here for a breath or two. And then go ahead and roll to the other side. We'll take it on the other side. I'm just going to move my chair out of the way so I can stay facing the screen. You can simply roll to the other side. So on the other side, once again, the knees are bent, arms are straight out, palms touching. And then let's slowly start inhaling one arm toward the ceiling, head follows, and drop it back down with your exhale. Continue to let the breath lead the movement as we come up again. And breathing back down. And if this time you'd like to go a little further, you can keep the head in the center as the arm begins to go any amount over to the opposite side into a deeper twist. If that's too much of a twist for you, keep that arm in the center or place your hand on your hip bone. Taking a few breaths in whatever position you've landed in. And then let's inhale that arm back to the center. The head comes back online and follows that hand toward the other one. Bend your elbows, bring those hands closer to the face. And of course, the cat decides to walk in. And then slowly release. And looking over my cat, let's head into Shavasana. Lindy's waiting because she sees her cats too. All right, rolling onto your back. Taking whatever feels right for our final relaxation pose. If you'd like to place your feet back on the chair, you can. Otherwise, out to the side. If you're lucky, your cat will come and visit you. Maybe take Shavasana with you. I think my cat's going to take Shavasana with me today. All right, I'm going to sit up, but you get into your final relaxation pose. Make come sit on my lap today for Shavasana. One of the best ways to take Shavasana. So making your way into this final pose, into final relaxation pose, or Shavasana as it's known in Sanskrit. Taking whatever support you need, putting on your socks or taking a blanket, whatever you need to keep you warm and comfortable. If it feels good to take a roll and put it underneath your knees, feel free to do that. Or also you can take Shavasana in a chair, simply sitting and letting the face drop just a bit as you receive the support of the chair. And so whatever position you're taking today for Shavasana, go ahead and get set. And then gently softening the eyes or closing them if that feels good to you. Letting the body slide right into this most restorative pose. Allowing the body to receive the support of the floor or the chair below you. Letting there again be a softness in the joints today. Softening the jaw right now, the joints, the TMJ, the joint of the jaw. Letting the inside of the mouth be soft, the eyes and the ears. Allow for a sense of spaciousness in the shoulders and the elbows, the wrists, and especially the hands today. A sense of softness in the hips, the knees, the ankles, and the feet. The body rests in this quiet level of awareness. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to fix right now. Slowly begin the process of coming out of Shavasana. Maybe a slightly deeper inhalation, maybe a slightly longer exhalation. If it feels good, wiggle the fingers or toes and roll to the side, bending one knee as you're rolling over, making that a pose, pausing there. And then slowly working your way up into any comfortable seated position, head drawing up last. Coming back where we started. And then let's bring our hands together into the center. As always, ending our practice with gratitude for the opportunity to connect, to practice together, and to bring this practice into the world. Namaste. The spirit in me bows to the spirit in you. Thank you for joining in this practice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.